on the corner of 25 West Main Street in downtown Vermilion. The spot, Winnie Mae's, is proud to support programming on Coyote News. The spot, Winnie Mae's, providing salon and spa services for men, women, and children.
Coming up on Coyote News, we'll take you behind the scenes of a staple muck event.
Plus, we tell you about a potential statewide aid program. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Hello, I'm Cassidy Cornell.
And I'm Nathan Finster. We'll get to those stories and more, but first...
There were a lot of big wins for the Democratic Party last night. The party swept many elections, including the governor elections in Virginia and New Jersey. Another big win was for Bill de Blasio, who won another term as the mayor of New York. The first openly transgender state lawmaker has been elected in Virginia. Danica Roem won a seat in the Virginia House of Delegates. When Roem takes office, she'll be the first openly transgender candidate to be elected to a state legislative body. The First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs, Texas, will hold a service Sunday, just 7 days after experiencing the deadliest mass shooting in the state's history. The church building is still uninhabitable, and the service will be held at a next-door community center. And those are your headlines. Well, Devin, we've had some clouds, but it was sure good to see the sunshine today.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also going to be partly cloudy throughout this whole entire week as well, which is good for the weekend. And currently it's around 49 degrees with some south-southwest winds around 10 miles per hour. For tonight, there will be a low around 20 as winds could get up to 25 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, it will be mostly sunny with a high near 30 and a low around 15. So make sure to keep a jacket handy because temperatures will rise slightly Friday as the high being 35 and a low around 31. And wind gusts will also be as a high and with 30 miles per hour. And lastly, for Veterans Day weekend, it'll be partially sunny with temperatures being in the 40s. And also for your weather fun fact this week, there is snowfall all across North Dakota today. So keep an eye out for snow in the forecast next week. And that's your Coyote weather.
USD student Kennedy Tomsha died this weekend following a car accident. Tomsha was traveling home with her roommate when another vehicle ran a stop sign and hit her car. Tomsha was a freshman biology major. Counseling services are available to students at the USD Counseling Center, and there will be additional counseling available in the B.D. Mickelson basement Sunday at 7 p.m. Coming up, we tell you about some hidden requirements to graduation. Lessons.
Behind the block.
Everything goes silent.
It's just you and the water.
And just wait for the beep.
This is Coyote News.
One staple of the Friday atmosphere on campus is DJ in the Muck, which entertains people finishing up their week. USD student Jake Lauder, known as the Muck DJ, tries to boost students' moods over the lunch break at the end of each week.
You know, they like to have a DJ on Fridays because, you know, it's the start of the weekend. Everybody just wants to have good time, good vibe. They've got tours going through that pass right by my table and everything, so it's good to see a little bit of a specialty. And, you know, it just kind of sets the tone for the weekend, I think, for students, and that's what they're kind of going for. So.
Louder also says that being a muck DJ is a campus opportunity anyone can apply for.
And beyond that, just the experience of, you know, saying that I contract with the university and have a consistent event every week. So.
DJ in the Muck is provided by the Student Services. The event takes place every Friday from 11 to 2 p.m.
Advising time is upon us. As Coyote News' Louisa Hansen reports, students' main concerns seem to be about how many more hours they need to graduate.
Some students may find that they need to take more than the standard 120 credit hours required by the Board of Regents.
What happened was that in order to factor in student teaching and additional requirements like lessons for music majors, each department had to submit a program eval to the board, or program modification to the Board of Regents to have it approved to extend those hours past the 120 credits.
Harrington says that another important thing for students to do during advising time is to figure out if they can request a degree audit. A total of at least 75 hours must be completed before this can be done.
Well, it used to be 80 credit hours, and then we had advisors that were like, oh, they're at 78, they're at 77, come on. So we're like, you know, we'll bump it down to 75. At that point, you're over 50% done with the coursework for your entire degree. You should have most of your gen eds complete and be focusing mostly on your major or minor coursework that's left.
Harrington says to get on the commencement list for your estimated semester of completion, a degree audit must be submitted. For Coyote News, I'm Louisa Hansen.
For any questions regarding class registration and credit hours, you can contact the registrar's office.
The National Music Museum's NMM Live series continued with its third show on Friday. The latest installment featured Luis Viquez playing his clarinet for a packed room. Viquez directs the USD Symphony Band and is one of 5 artists asked to play this fall.
So I'm very honored to be involved with the National Music Museum, especially because this concert series is very prestigious. They usually bring well-renowned artists around the country, so for me this has been an absolute honor.
The final 2 concerts will both be on December 1st, with the South Dakota National Guard Band at noon and pianist Richard Steinenbach in the evening. The museum communications manager says that the students can attend all NMM live concerts for free, and many concerts will use instruments on display at the museum. Still to come, we show you about the nationally unique research the USD Physics Department is working on.
This is Coyote News.
South Dakota is the only state in the country that doesn't offer need-based aid to students. SGA Senator Josh Sorby recently sponsored a measure in favor of the Dakota's Promise program. The recommendation encourages Governor Dugard to include the Board of Regents' Dakota's Promise Aid program in his next budget.
Is a $3.5 million request for Governor Dugard to include in this year's fiscal budget to provide students to South Dakota, to provide assistance to South Dakota students, and they want to scale it up to $10.5 million in the next few years to assist almost 6,000 students in South Dakota. So it's definitely a robust program that they're looking to continue, and it could change the face of education in South Dakota.
The recommendation also encourages the SGA president and vice president to promote the program to other universities.
We felt that this is something that we should start with USD and then expand it to the other institutions.
The governor's office said Dugard's still in the process of reviewing his budget, but with revenue below projections, it looks like South Dakota's in for another year of limited spending. The governor will give his budget recommendations in December.
While many students were celebrating Halloween last week, the physics department was celebrating a holiday of their own. Last Monday, the physics department at USD hosted Dark Matter Day in the Patterson Hall Auditorium. During the event, Assistant Physics Professor Joel Sander and Physics Professor Dongming Mei explained the concept of dark matter. Sanders says that most of our universe's mass contains this unknown matter.
So dark matter is perhaps the biggest puzzle in physics today. There's no puzzle bigger that we need to try to understand. We believe that most of the mass, 80% of the mass, the stuff in the universe, doesn't interact with the light. It's completely different than everything that you, I, are made of, interact with. We call it dark matter because essentially we don't see it with telescopes.
He says that USD is one of the few universities in the world that is researching dark matter. Sanders says that with researching such an unknown concept that there is bound to be failure. However, he says that the physics department is determined to keep improving their research.
So we built detectors, we looked, we didn't find any rats, but we're not daunted. We built a better experiment that's not like 50% better, 75% better, like 100 or 1,000 times better, and say we're really going to go for it.
Sanders says that there are opportunities for students to help with research. He says that this is a great way for students to learn from some of the best researchers in the world. For more information on USD research opportunities, you can go to the Center for Academic and Global Engagement located in the Ivy Weeks Library, room 103.
The Dark Matter Day is far from the only campus event happening. Tonight, Spectrum's holding their fall drag show. Coyote News' Rachel Newville is live in the muck with the president of Spectrum to talk about tonight's show. Rachel?
Thanks, Cassidy. So could you tell me a little bit more about the history of Spectrum and the drag show?
The history of Spectrum, it started probably back in 1950s, and it started with a very small group of people, and it slowly grew to bigger and bigger. And our drag show has been around for quite a while, probably since at least the 40s, or at least the 70s. And the drag show started out really small, and it's slowly gotten bigger because we've gotten more people that are interested in seeing kind of what the culture is and just stuff like that.
How many do you expect to be in attendance tonight?
Probably about 300 to 400 people.
Does the drag show help with Spectrum's educational goals at the university?
It does, in a sense. Like, it doesn't help teach, but it helps us get funding so we can do more programs that teach more about the LGBT community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Spectrum will be letting people into the drag show until 7 o'clock tonight. You can go to the drag show in the Muck Ballroom. Live for Coyote News in the Muck, I'm Rachel Newville.
Well, Devin, that was sure a tough loss for USD this weekend.
It sure was. We have highlights of that game, and we have a preview story of the women's basketball season that tips off Friday. That and more next in sports.
This is Coyote News.
Tonight on Coyote Sports, the football team falls in heartbreaking fashion, and we have a story previewing the women's basketball season. But first, the headlines with Devin Martin.
Two-time Cy Young Award-winning pitcher Roy Halladay died yesterday when his private plane crashed into the Gulf of Mexico. He was 40 years old. Halladay spent 12 seasons with the Toronto Blue Jays and 4 seasons with the Philadelphia Phillies. He won 203 games over his career, was an 8-time All-Star, threw a perfect game, and also threw a no-hitter in a playoff game. UCLA head men's basketball coach Steve Alford announced that he will sit the 3 players accused of shoplifting in China. The team is scheduled to play a game against Georgia Tech in Shanghai on Saturday. Among the 3 players accused is LiAngelo Ball, brother of Lakers rookie Lonzo Ball. And those are your headlines.
The USD football team entered Saturday's game at Northern Iowa with a 7-1 record, looking for another win to help their chances of securing a home playoff game. Chris Strevler was back in the lineup for the Coyotes after leaving last week's game with a shoulder injury, and he'd get off to a fast start. He finds Josh Hale in the flat. He slips by a defender, and he takes it into the end zone, giving USD a 7-0 lead. After the teams exchange field goals, Eli Dunn connects with a wide-open Isaiah Weston. He takes it 59 yards for a Panther touchdown to tie the game at 13. First Coyote drive of the second half, and tight end Brett Sampson takes the handoff, weaves his way through the defense. He goes in for a score, and the Coyotes are up 10. They look to be going on to another win, and then everything starts to go wrong. Coyotes looking to run out the clock, and Kai Henry fumbles the football. Northern Iowa recovers and returns it to the 11-yard line. On the ensuing Panther drive, Marcus Waymiller will take the handoff right here. He takes it in for a touchdown, giving UNI a 27-23 lead. But they'd leave just enough time on the clock for Strevler to lead a game-winning drive. He rolls out to his left. He's under pressure, and he will throw it right at Keelan Brookings from UNI. He takes it all the way back for a pick 6, and Northern Iowa goes on to upset the Coyotes 34-29. The Coyotes fall to 7-2 on the season. They travel to Fargo this weekend for a battle with NDSU. Fans got their first chance to see the men's basketball team in action on Saturday. The Coyotes defeated the University of Sioux Falls 73-64 in an exhibition game. Tyler Hagedorn led the way for the Yotes with 15 points. Tristan Simpson and Matt Mooney tallied 11 each, and Carlton Hurst just missed a double-double with 8 points and 10 rebounds. The Coyotes begin the regular season Saturday night at home against Mayville State. The women's basketball season is just a few days from tipping off, and the team feels confident heading into the 2017-2018 campaign. Last season, under new head coach Don Plitzewite, a young and relatively inexperienced USD women's basketball team finished 4th in the Summit League standings and lost in the opening round of the conference tournament to Omaha. This season experiences USD's strength going into year 2 under Plitzewite.
We have a 4th-year senior in Kate Liveringhouse, a 5th-year senior in Jasmine Trimboli. We have a 6th-year senior in Caitlin Duffy. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we may be the only team in the country that has that. It's a pretty unique situation.
The return of Caitlin Duffy and Jasmine Trimboli, who both missed last season with injury, add to an already talented group whose goal is to fill the arena with a conference championship. Caitlin Duffy says she's thankful to be back, especially with the chance to play with younger sister Kira Duffy.
I mean, going through all of last year, learned a lot, grew a lot, but the whole time not knowing if I was going to get this year. And so truly, it sounds cliche, but every day I just feel like is a blessing that I get to be on the court with these guys and my sister. And so it's awesome. I'm so excited.
Although the Coyotes missed having Trimboli and Duffy last season, it gave other players on the team an opportunity to learn positions they'd normally not play.
Anybody can play anywhere, and I think that's definitely going to be prevalent this year in everyone's kind of diversity and ability to play multiple positions.
The Coyotes have a tough non-conference schedule to start the year that includes Power 5 opponents Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and Tennessee. Coach Plitzewite says playing those teams helps the program toward reaching their long-term goals.
Our goal is to continue to compete for conference championships and conference tournament championships on a year-to-year basis. So in order to prepare for that, what was really important for us was to have an opportunity to play the best non-conference schedule that we could put together.
Tip off their season Friday in Ames against Iowa State. The USD swimming and diving teams had 4 athletes sweep the Summit League Athlete of the Week awards. Junior Sarah Shank and sophomore Isaac Morris took Diver of the Week awards. Juniors Morgan Holt and Hunter Paget brought home Swimmer of the Week honors. Shank won the award for the second time in his career as she swept both 1-meter dives and the 3-meter dives, and also qualified for the NCAA Zone Diving Championships for the first time in her career. Morris won the award for the 3rd time in his career after finishing 3rd in the 1-meter dive, and he also qualified for the NCAA Zone Diving Championships. Holt won the award for the first time in her career after winning the 200-yard butterfly, and Paget brought home the award for the 2nd time in his career after winning the 100 and 200-yard freestyle races. The swimming and diving team will look to make a splash at the Iowa State Tri-Duals this Friday in Ames. The USD volleyball team defeated SDSU last night in straight sets. Senior Brittany Jessen is now the program's all-time leader in career assists. Jessen recorded 32 assists in a 3-1 loss to Oral Roberts on Sunday. She now sits at 4,655 assists, passing Tori Kroll, who played for the Yotes from 2010 to 2013. The Coyotes sit in 3rd place in the Summit League standings. They wrap up the regular season at home Friday night against Denver. The high school football championships are in Vermillion tomorrow through Saturday, and what most people don't know about the championships is that the entire 3-day, 7-session event is organized and put on by USD students. Coyote News' Lauren Solik is live in the muck with Taylor Staub, a member of the executive staff, to talk about everything that goes into planning the event. Lauren?
Thanks, Devin. So Taylor, how will organizing events like this help you in your future?
As someone who wants to go into sports, being able to organize this as a college student is incredibly beneficial because you can go into the real world and say, I've already done a high school football championship, give me all of the information I need and I can just go off from that. You don't have to tell me X, Y, and Z, you just need to tell me maybe just X.
And so what has been the most challenging part about the planning?
The most challenging part about the planning for me personally has been the communication, the scheduling, and the booking, because you're calling one person who refers you to another person who's referring you to another person, so it's a chain reaction of just getting to the one person to get the information that you need. And then because we didn't know who was going to make it to the championships until last Friday, it was, we had to contact 30 athletic directors, and now it's down to 14, and it was, okay, well, we have plans for these guys, but not these athletic directors.
Okay, and so are USD students allowed to go, and if so, how much does it cost for them?
USD students are allowed to come. If they want to come in for free, we're always looking for volunteers to help run the show, so being ushers, making sure that the high school students aren't running to and fro. But if they want to be a spectator, it's going to be $15 for a reserved seat.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Taylor.
You're welcome.
If you're looking for something to do this weekend, since our football team is on the road, check out the South Dakota High School Championships. Live from the Muck for Coyote News, I'm Lauren Solik.
Thanks, Lauren. Here's the full schedule of all 7 games. The 9-man classes kick off the championships tomorrow. In Class 9B, Sully Buttes takes on Coleman Egan. Coleman Egan is looking to repeat as champs. The second game of the day is Class 9AA matchup between Gregory and Irene Wakanda. The Gregory Gorillas are also looking to win back-to-back titles. And in Class 9A, Corsica Stickney takes on Britton Hecla. On Friday, Sioux Falls Christian takes on Bridgewater Emory Ethan in the 11B title game. Sioux Falls Christian is making their first appearance in the state championship game. And in 11AA, Harrisburg takes on Pierre. Harrisburg returns to the Dome for a second straight year after losing to Mitchell last season. And on Saturday, Madison battles Dakota Valley in Class 11A. Madison is looking for a 3rd consecutive championship. And finally, in Class 11 AAA, Sioux Falls Washington is also looking to three-peat when they take on crosstown rival Sioux Falls Roosevelt. And that's a look at sports. Coming up after the break, we ask students about the things that annoy them the most. Their answers are next.
Climbing's awesome because it's challenging, both mentally and physically.
You gotta love climbing because even when you're not climbing, you get a great view.
Climbing's great because I feel like Spider-Man.
Climbing is great, because even my nerd friends can do it.
Climbing's awesome because there's always someone who has your back.
Come to the rock wall and figure out why climbing's awesome for you.
This is Coyote News.
The stress of finals is starting to set in, and people are more on edge and getting annoyed by the little things. In this week's Out and About, we asked students what their pet peeve is.
Hearing other people's bodies. I don't want to hear people sniffle or hack up a lung. That's gross.
Winter.
When girls burp or when someone burps and they don't say excuse me. It's disgusting.
When people chew their gum really loudly.
When people walk either really slow or really fast. Find a happy medium, please.
Probably my friend's smelly feet.
When you're taking a test and the people next to you keep sniffling and coughing, that's my pet peeve.
People that smack when they eat.
Loud gulping. It's so annoying.
People interrupting me, for sure.
Probably when people sweat when they eat.
Okay, now those are some pretty good ones. I'd have to say my pet peeve is when people don't hold the door open for me.
Yeah, my pet peeve, but I would agree with one of them. People walking way too slow and block the entire sidewalk.
Or when you're walking and someone on a bike just zooms by you and almost takes you out without even saying excuse you.
Yeah, those ones are pretty bad. But another pet peeve of mine is people that don't read the Volant. So make sure to pick up a new issue of the Volant out today, featuring a story on how some students are challenging the gender stereotypes in their majors.
That's all for Coyote News. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
And be sure to watch and listen for Coyote News daily updates throughout the week on KAOR and the Coyote News Facebook page.
Thank you, and have a great night.